name is Josh. I have been in the restaurant world in Calgary since around 2012, and I got into wine, and eventually I was forced into tea. So generally speaking, I work at a restaurant called Carino these days. I run a web shop that's called sommelier.com, but very soon, hopefully in a month or so, I'll open up a place called the Tea Cult, and that will be in Inglewood. It'll be a very small place. Honestly, I'll have one table about this size. So the point of it is to do exactly what you're about to do. Let's say that there's something called a tea rainbow, and it starts with what you would call white tea, moves into yellow tea, into green tea, into, you can say oolong is blue, but blue tea. There's red tea, which is what most of the world calls black tea. And there's dark tea, not to be confused with black tea, but dark tea is on the table too. Aroma is so important in this. And if you ignore the aroma, I feel like there's no point in having tea. That's the entire reason why I drink tea, is to take, when I separate this leaf mixture into this carafe here, to sit there and smell it. And then there's like a mental game that I really love to play. And I'm gonna encourage you all to try this too. And that is, when you smell this, life experience is gonna come racing through your head. And your brain wants to tell you, you've smelt this before, you've smelt it with this, plus this, plus this. Your brain gets it, but it doesn't really come out in any way that you can verbalize it to people. That's a skill, but it's not hard to get that. And once you get it, life is better, I promise. I'm not going to ask you and put you on the spot what you smell, but my goal is to get you to smell something that is not tea. If you drink tea like this, tea tastes better. And usually, like when you get old, you care less about what people think. So I think you tend to, if your dad or parents drink tea, or your grandpa drinks tea, they generally drink it like this. So it's sort of... The point is that tea is really aromatic. And when you do that, you're bringing in a lot of the air with the tea. And rather than just covering your tongue, you're spraying tea all over your mouth. Give that a try, please. You can slurp as loud and forceful as you need to. This is called sencha. So this is what Japan does as their premium tea. And I think that frankly, this is the best tea that I'm gonna make for you today. In terms of what quality and what this is, this producer is one of the greats of Japan. They have won the tea that they make, they have won best tea in Japan before. And that's with a different grade of tea than sencha, but if you were in Japan and you, let's say, just drink tea every day, and by all means, please start. When you drink tea by yourself, maybe you can drink something called bancha. It's B-A-N-C-H-A. Bancha means ordinary tea. It's cheap. Sencha is a grade above that. If your parents come to visit you when you move out on your own and they see how you're doing, and you make them bancha, parents are going to be worried about you. If you can spend an extra $5 and buy sencha, they're probably doing fine. One thing that you really will get to know with experience is not really how good it is. I mean, it is, that's important, but it's how bad it isn't. You're paying usually to get less bad stuff. Not more good stuff, but less bad stuff. Because tea that's bitter, or tea that's sour, or tea that dries out your mouth, it doesn't feel good. So you have to fix it. And normally you fix it with milk and sugar, or spices, or things like that. But tea that is already really good, you don't have to add anything to it. And then you have to pay money to get that tea. That's sort of the big thing. We have paper then, we have paint. When you mix them together inside of this teapot, there's a little artist who appears. And the artist is not me in this, the artist is spontaneously appearing in here, and they're gonna paint a picture. And if you give them the same amount of paper, same type of paper, same amount of paint, consistently, they will always paint the same picture for you. And maybe at the beginning, they're sketching the rough idea out, and start to fill in some lines, make it better, fill in a background, eventually the picture's done. If you leave it for 5 seconds or 10 seconds, they're just putting like a couple pencil sketches down. It's nothing yet. And then halfway through, I'm like, all right, it's done. Can I have it now? It's like, we're not done yet. We have to make the lines better. So that being said, changing the steeping time is like watching this video file. All of us would have a different opinion of where is best, but you have to kind of be at my whim of this. I can only make one pot of tea. There's like a birthplace of tea in the world that is a politically very divided region. And it kind of is on the border of many countries. Northern Thailand, northern Vietnam, Myanmar, all of Laos, all of Cambodia, northern India too, southwestern China, and Nepal, where all these countries sort of touch each other. Tea belongs there. Tea was born there, Earth made it there. If you see tea in Africa, you see tea in, say Japan, you see tea in Eastern China, it's because somebody brought it there. And it was monks who brought it there. Without Buddhism, tea would not be a thing. But you can say there's like a patron saint of tea, but there's a character that you would see one day if you go to Japan. So generally speaking, it's just a head, it's a ball, and it's red on the outside. It doesn't usually have eyes. It's called Daruma. Bodhidharma is the Indian version of the name, but the Bodhidharma character is very important for tea because he was chanting and he had a bunch of acolyte monks that were trying to learn Buddhism from him. And chanting for hours is not easy, especially when you stay up for 3 days in a row. So Bodhidharma fell asleep in the middle of chanting his thing to all of his students. And his students, well, they weren't really sure if he should be sleeping or not, if it's allowed. So they didn't touch him. He just kind of sat there. And then, when gravity kind of hits in your center of balance and you wake up and you're like, oh. And then everyone's watching him and it's super awkward. And he's like, shit, I fell asleep. Guys, it's not okay to fall asleep. Don't fall asleep when you're chanting. It's very bad. And he's so ashamed. He pulls out this knife and he takes his eyelids and he slices his eyelids off. And he's like, I'll never close my eyes again. And he throws his eyelids into the forest. And his determination to stay awake, his eyelids grew roots and they became tea bushes. That's the story. And that monks eventually started using tea as a means to stay awake. And tea spread through Buddhism, going from town to town. But let's say, if you believe that this smells like steamed buns, then I would say it probably tastes pretty good with steamed buns. It's very basic thinking, but your brain is not a simple thing. We're all very, very good at this and very smart at this. It's just who acts on this information and who doesn't. And if you set up like a tasting thing like that, you'd be surprised after, especially if you didn't allow yourself to like pull out your phone or to do anything that's like distracting. After you having those 4 teas back to back, mentally you're like on another planet. It's a very cool feeling, and then you're like, I can do anything right now. So if you're ever stuck, like that is a very good trick to get out of that stress, is like to just go to another world. And tea is, especially good tea, is very easy to get you in another world. My shop does not need to make money. That's the best part. I mean, it'd be nice if it did, but I'm totally happy just to break even. I have another job to make money. I work in a restaurant, and that's not bad for me. My shop is for happiness. So if I can make people happy when they're visiting and I can teach them stuff, I hope to be able to do something that other shops choose not to do, because usually money is the reason why you do business, right? Obviously, what I'm attempting to do is not a good business model. To break even is not a good business model. But that's okay. I don't need it to be a good business model. I just want it to be fun. So if you ever have a chance and you're in Inglewood, it'll be called the Tea Cult. Maybe by March it might be open. But I said that last summer it was going to be open. So we'll see what happens. Life's like that. Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you.